The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Can Jonathan Lekkerimaki save JT Miller's career? What? Well, without Brock Boeser? What? Okay, you know what? One loss to the Oilers and I'm just done.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into this episode, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. Part of that Locked On Podcast Network. They're doing the most for sports fans across the world. And for our show, if you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe and like this video on YouTube. And on the podcast side, oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. Because we're not here without you, but we're also not here without the sponsors. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Go download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Happy Remembrance Day. One love to all those who have fought and given it all for our country and for your Vancouver Canucks. They fought for about 40 minutes on Saturday night.
40?
And the last 20 minutes were a bit of an abomination, if you will. But things are about to change for the Vancouver Canucks, and it looks like the top prospect in the organization is going to get his shot a lot sooner than I would have anticipated, and I think a lot would have anticipated. Is Lekkerimaki getting his shot at the right time? Are the Canucks calling him up too early? Let's touch on that to kick off today's episode of Locked On Canucks. Also get into the JT Miller problem because something ain't right with that guy. Get into a couple of your comments as well, and maybe even talk about the alien. Has he returned? Jam-packed episode. All that and more coming up. But before we get to it, let me shout out my co-host, Kyle Bowen. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, and I'm really happy that, you gave a shout-out to Remembrance Day and the people, the warriors, who have looked after this country. I'm happy you did that because, man, oh, man, you never know. One day, I'll meet Don Cherry, and I like to keep it real with everyone, right? And if he found out that we ran a program that didn't shout out Remembrance Day, bro, he would murder you. Not he wouldn't do that, but he would poke you with the poppy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would poke your eyes out with the pop. No, okay, okay. Go Canucks, go. I'm back to normal, okay? For real. It took me a while to get over the Oilers loss on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. But look at this comment from Mother Nucker, straight from the States. I think this guy's from Alabama, Connecticut, okay? He's saying that New Jersey got shut out last night by San Jose on home ice. That's making the Oilers loss feel a little bit better because, again, it's November. Nothing great happens in November, okay? Happy Remembrance. Okay. John Lekkerimaki gets called up early, maybe too early, okay? Andrew's saying the same thing. But at the end of the day, the Canucks' best goal scorer on the wing is injured, maybe indefinitely. And Jonathan Lekkerimaki, a handful of goals early on in his AHL career, his pro career, also playing really well defensively, supposedly. And I just feel as if, I wouldn't say this move is a desperate one, but it's a move that's needed. Okay, Trevor, I know you wanted him to marinate more, right? You're the type of guy that likes to slow cook his steak for like 4 days, 6 days, right? Just to get that perfect medium rare. I know you've seen the TikTok videos, but the Canucks need Lekkerimaki right now.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you, to be honest. And let's hit the button, man, because this doesn't always happen. But when Beggsy and Bowen disagree with each other, we got to hit the button, baby. Look, I mean, with Jonathan Lekkerimaki, this is a guy who, again, is only in his third season, after being drafted by the Vancouver Canucks. And I just wanted to wait until at least the 20 to 25 game mark, right? I mean, because we've seen in the NHL, right? A guy can go on a hot stretch for a couple of games. Jonathan Lekkerimaki, might I add, has only played 7 games in the AHL this season. And sure, he's looked good in those games. But I just think it's a little early to be calling Jonathan Lekkerimaki up to this team. I know it's on the basis of a good preseason, but with the depth the Canucks have on the wings, it just seemed like a very odd time to trade Daniel Sprong because it seemed like the primary rationale was to get Jonathan Lekkerimaki into the lineup. And again, in preseason, Sprong and Lekkerimaki were about on the same page. And you trade with a guy, you get nothing in return, and now you're just going to call up Jonathan Lekkerimaki. Look, prove me wrong, go out there, do your thing. But yeah, I'm a little hesitant that the Canucks are doing this too soon.
It is what it is, though. Like you said, like to mention the whole Sprong thing, they let him go. Now you're connecting the dots. You're saying, oh, you know what? They let Sprong go. It's because of the whole Lekkerimaki thing. Blah blah blah. You heard rumblings of Tocchet just understanding that he much rather have the Baineses, the Amons play that type of role in the bottom six, thus giving this opportunity for Sprong to, be opportunistic elsewhere. Okay, they're being nice to the guy. All that being said, back to the Lekkerimaki topic. It has a lot to do with Boeser. Okay, I don't want to put 2 and 2 together too much, or 1 + 1 equals. At the end of the day, I think these guys are scared about Brock Boeser's injury, man. And I think they want to know if a guy like Jonathan Lekkerimaki can provide, I wouldn't say similar statistical totals as a Brock Boeser, because that's like mission impossible, but can he play a good two-way game, supply some offense, supply that type of depth up at the top of the lineup? Because I feel as if Archie Baines is not that guy this year, right? He's still a little too tentative, and his offensive ceiling can only be reached if he's a baller, if he plays with more aggressiveness in his abilities. I just don't think he's that guy. Obviously, Sprong doesn't have the two-way ability, and I just feel like, again, like they're taking a chance here now. Are you scared, though? Are you scared that this is going to wreck his development? Are you doubting, the whole Tocchet philosophy? Are you doubting Alvin and Rutherford? Because I'm not. And I saw this Thomas Drance tweet like last week, and it was talking about how Lekkerimaki's goal totals in the AHL connecting with his shot totals being so high is a clear indication that this guy's not going to do much learning in the AHL.
Yeah, well, and we'll see about that, right? Because I still, again, I haven't watched every Abbotsford Canucks game. But when I watched him, he's looked good, but a lot of his shots are still coming from the perimeter, right? And good on him for getting the puck towards the net. And I think, part of this rationale is that the Canucks are still kind of struggling to shoot the puck, right? They're still trying to play hero puck a bit. They're still trying to go quality for quantity. And Lekkerimaki, at the very least, is a guy who's going to go in there and just shoot the freaking puck on net, which is something this team seems allergic to doing sometimes. And that came up against the Oilers on Saturday night. I mean, good defensive team, but, to get 20 shots in a, fairly big game, game 8, was pretty disappointing to see. So, look, I'm not saying it's going to wreck his development or anything like that, but, even Harman Dial pulled a list of players in their draft +3 season who had the similar AHL production to Jonathan Lekkerimaki. And, lots of good names there, but even when I went through these names, most of them got like at least 25 games in the AHL. And it is like Logan Stankoven, Kyle Palmieri,
Wow.
Josh Norris, Mikhail Granlund, Dylan Gunther, Jordan Kyrou, Tyler Toffoli, Owen Tippett, Luke Evangelista. So all guys who have gone on to, at varying degrees of their career, obviously, have all gone on to, find some success in the NHL. But at the end of the day, they all got like, a good run in the AHL. So I don't know. I still think it's a little too to call Lekkerimaki, considering the depth the Canucks have. You're saying that they're still 7-3-3 on the season. And I just, the Daniel Sprong trade to me was unforced. I mean, after that trade, we're saying like, oh, Brock Boeser must not be out that long. And the compatibility's out indefinitely. So it's just a bit of a strange series of moves, in my opinion.
It's strange, and even more so considering that and I wasn't trying to do this today, and that's bring up Saturday, but it's again more strange because of the 11-7 that Tocchet pulled out of his ass 1 minute before game time. I believe that. I think Tocchet made that decision literally like 40 seconds before the game started. Did you see his reasoning? He talked about how he wanted to have more options for the penalty kill. I'm like, dude, hasn't the penalty kill been a little decent this year? And hasn't the Oilers power play, albeit, they are still magical even when they suck or not converting. But again, it's not as if they were lighting the league on fire. And Tocchet just overthought that decision. But I don't think they're overthinking this one, man. Again, I just think that they're, as Trevor alluded to, leaning on the fact that they're 7-3-3, and maybe they have a little bit of room here to take some more chances considering Calgary's in town. And I know Calgary beat us in the first game of the season, but I guess there's a cushion here for some more experimenting to happen. But at the end of the day, replacing Boeser, considering they don't know how long he's going to be out for, it's essential, man. And here's the thing about Brock. He's a UFA, right? I feel as if his party, right, his team, they don't want to rush this. They don't want to rush this at all. And the thing about concussions or any head injuries, you just never know how long this could take. I mean, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, or it could be 4 months. We don't know. And a guy like that, you got to take your time, man. Again, he's talking about being a UFA and setting up his future, and he's just starting to like really turn into a premier NHL player again. And they got to be patient here, more so than any other injury. And this guy just came off a blood clot. So finding out ASAP if maybe there's lightning in a bottle, if Lekkerimaki can provide similar value is just so essential to this team's success. And Trevor, why don't you just be optimistic and have some faith in the youth, okay? I know you're 31 and a half years old and you're struggling with erectile dysfunction, arthritis, and all these things. I know it's tough. But man, oh man. And I know tuition prices are through the roof and you got your kids going to college soon. I know, Trevor. But just relax and have some hope and faith that you never know. You never know. This guy who played with some adults last year in Sweden can rip it up and be one of the more premier young players in hockey. And Trevor, I want to ask you that, like, best case scenario, Lekkerimaki plays really well, whether it be with Pedersen or Miller, okay? One or the other. He plays really, really well, and Boeser comes back sooner than I just alluded to. Like, this is the best case scenario. Then you're looking at Lekkerimaki, Boeser, DeBrusk, Miller, Pedersen, Garland. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Damn. It's not going to make up for the fact that this team has horrible defense outside of, Hughes, Hronek, and Susi's been playing pretty good last 2 games, but that's like X factor material, and that's like raising the ceiling of the team. So I feel like there's a 10% chance that, well, we're about to see, again, best case scenario with the Vancouver Canucks, and that's Lekkerimaki. Yes, Lekkerimaki, like raising the ceiling of this team.
Yeah, maybe we'll touch on that a bit more on the other side. Like, what does Lekkerimaki actually bring to the Vancouver Canucks? Because you asked what the best case scenario is, and this might hurt Canucks fans, but the best case scenario is Dylan Guenther, right? Dylan Guenther was on that list that Harmon Dial, the players he mentioned. He was a point-a-game guy in the AHL, and what does he come to do in the NHL? Be a point-a-game guy, more or less. Was on an absolute heater to start this season, too, and just looking like a legit top 6 guy, obviously signed to a long-term deal. So, again, Lekkerimaki is going to be an NHL player at some point. I'm not too concerned about that. I still think it's a little soon, but hey, if you guys want to go best case scenario, the best case scenario is that he is the next Dylan Guenther. Let's talk more about Lekkerimaki, what he brings to the table on the other side. Let's touch a little bit more on JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, because the script seems to have flipped on those 2 players as well. We'll touch on that on the other side after we shout out our friends at PrizePicks and Gametime. All right, you know the deal, baby. If you're playing daily fantasy sports, you got to go check out PrizePicks, okay? With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. On PrizePicks, you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks, okay? You think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? Can Christian McCaffrey come back from his German robotic operation and run for more than 75.5 yards? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this season when you and your crew run your game on PrizePicks, okay? So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play. Just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So make sure you head on over to PrizePicks and run your game.
Shout out to PrizePicks. Yeah, I got to start using PrizePicks, man, because Christmas is coming up, and I think I'm losing some clients here, man. Real talk, man. I got to start gambling.
Man, oh man. Well, once you start winning on your PrizePicks bets, make sure you go spend that money over at Gametime, baby, okay? Because on Gametime, okay, tickets are going down in price, especially if you're cheering for those Vancouver Canucks. But Gametime, you're going to get the best price possible, okay? Because they got that lowest price guarantee, okay? If you find tickets for cheaper on another app, Gametime will credit you with 110% of the difference. Oh, baby. And not only that, but they got this new feature now called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite live teams play even easier, okay? Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Cal, I'm not going to lie, man. I was looking at Christmas shopping this morning. The wifey and I wanted to buy some Canucks tickets. It's expensive out there, man. It's expensive. I'm debating to go see a couple games in Abbotsford, maybe take the fam out there. But hey, I know if I'm buying those tickets, I'm doing so on Game Time. Okay, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Go download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account right now and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks here on Locked On Canucks. One love to the Burnaby Gardens and the Don't Doze Art Lab for, giving you that West Coast bias on the daily and, for giving us that culture, right? You got to look after your neighbors all the time, okay? How are we going to change the world if we're not even looking after our neighbors? They may be strangers, but they're still our neighbors. Trevor Beggs, not a stranger to you. He's here all the time. He's even here on the post-game show here on Locked On Canucks. And I know it's been a I wouldn't say chaotic, but a change of plans. Okay, the post game show's on this side now. Okay, other things happening on the other channel. And Beggs, you're not reading any nighttime stories to your children anymore. You're on the post game show, and I really, really appreciate that, man. Straight up, I didn't know that was going to be the case, and you make the world a better place because of it. So maybe tomorrow he'll be there again. He's a family man. You never know what's going to happen. And we also play the Islanders this week too. So let's just get back to schedule. Let's win some games and pile up the points. And I think Lekkerimaki is scoring his first goal against Calgary. I think it's going to happen ASAP. I just see Calgary, not the strongest of opponents. They're struggling. There's a bit of ease there. Miller's coming off of a stretch of games where he's been pretty mediocre. I'm not sure if he's injured. I feel like he's going to wake up, and because, they're paired up together in practice and whatnot, Lekkerimaki is going to pay dividends, okay?
Well, I think there's a spot ready made for him on this power play because the power play has done nothing this season. So I know that's not the reason why you call him up and see what he can do, right? So I mean, we didn't really talk about it before, this recall happened, but my 2 cents were that A, they should let him marinate, but B, this wasn't going to happen until the Canucks felt a need for it to happen. And when you get spanked 7-3 on home ice, when you win one of your first 6 games on home ice, I mean, not that they're hurting for ticket sales or anything, but obviously someone's got to change there, right? This is a team that, has a pretty much an even goal differential through their first 13 games. I know they're -1 because they count the freaking shootout goal against Philly, which I think is BS, but that's beside the point. But Lekkerimaki can come in here and, again, hopefully give a juice to the top 6 because the top 6 hasn't been firing on all cylinders at all this season, right? It was Pettersson struggling through the first bit. I think he's been better over the last 8 games than most think. Especially defensively, and now the offense is starting to come too. But now JT Miller's struggling, right? So you're hoping Lekkerimaki can provide a boost to one of those 2 lines, spread out some wealth up there, and then of course the power play. And Kyle, I'm with you. I'm not sure if he's going to score in Calgary. It'd be pretty magical if both him and Pettersson could get their first goals against Calgary. And what Pettersson did, Lekkerimaki hopefully follows in his footsteps. But I could see it happening on this homestand. 5 games left in this homestand, and I just think this guy's got one of the best shots on the team right now, and that he can figure it out scoring the power play.
And how about you just give the home fans something to cheer about? For real. I'm done with this stuff, man. This economy, man. The Canucks keep losing at home, and it's just embarrassing. And you gotta tie this all the way back to Game 7 against the Oilers too. Like what's happening? And not to ignore the whole Lekkerimaki aspect of this, but I feel bad for the fans because I feel as if over the last, what would it be, like 50 home games? The crowd, the audience, they've been loud. They've been trying to get the team in it. In fact, there's been moments in games where the team's down by 2 or they're down by 3 and they score 1 goal, and it's like, boom, bam. Let's get another. We have the belief, we have the hope, and I just hope that Lekkerimaki and company can get this team some wins. Now, Lekkerimaki, I just want to ask you a question more so about the top 6 collectively, and maybe you can sprinkle in how Lekkerimaki can, like, I don't know, iron out some of the details. But what do you think has been the problem stylistically with the top 6? Is it as simple as up until last game, Pettersson not being able to skate with the puck? You know what I'm saying? With any sort of aggressiveness, with any sort of disruptiveness, wanting to sprout from his instincts. He's been very timid early on. Like overall, though, again, like what do you think has been the boring part of our top 6? And if you have the stats in front of you, I'm just curious, like what is our goal differential right now? Because I feel as if it's like -1, -2, or is it +2? Like it's very, very narrow.
at all situations, I'll try to pull up an even strength here, but in all situations this season, it's even. I mean, NHL.com counts it as -1, but they count shootout goals, right? They count the Philadelphia beating us in a shootout, but it's dead even this season. It's -11 at home in 6 home games, which is crazy. So we're averaging almost losing by 2 goals a game at home, but it's +11 on the road so far, which makes sense. Good team is 6-1. I mean, honestly, this might sound like a cop-out, but I do wonder if Pettersson and Miller are both fully healthy. It doesn't really look like it, right? Pettersson's lacking a bit of speed. Miller's lacking a bit of speed. I mean, there's been rumblings about both of them being hurt, right? Miller couldn't take face-offs early in the season. Pettersson apparently still bugged by the tendonitis. It just doesn't look like both of them are at 100% right now. And you couple that with Pettersson not really having chemistry with wingers off the bat, JT Miller losing his homie and Brock Boeser, and again, just been a bit of a clunky start overall, right? And that's why it'll be an interesting go to the league segment to finish off this show, because again, I feel like the top 6 is, I don't want to say it's been the primary issue with this team. I think that's kind of the bottom 4 on defense. But the top 6 has not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
You brought up the whole defense thing. And again, the Canucks have allowed 6 goals 3 times at home ice. I believe they did that once last year. So we allowed 6 against Calgary, 6 against the Devils, 7 against the Oilers. That's just horrible. And, Trevor just talked about the offense and like what's been going on. And you're talking about the injuries and like the new players. And Pettersson hasn't been going for a long time. It's just hard for things to look sexy when there's a lot of variables outside of the cohesiveness that's needed. And one of the main points, which is, ironically the opposite of offense or the opposite of the top 6, is like the bottom 4 defense. And, we touched on this in September, but the inability to consistently get the puck out of your own zone via a clean pass enables fluidity to be a constant in your game offensively. If you're just banging the puck off the boards and then having to retrieve it and then make a play, it's less clean. It's less fluid. You know what I'm saying? It's gross. It's not sexy. That's like top, like bottom 5, in the league type of offensive generation. Like overall, this team just needs better first passing for their blue line. And right now, Myers, all that being said, I was about to trip Myers. Myers probably was our second best defenseman against the Oilers. I'm not going to lie, but having him, Soucy, and Desharnais, for the most part, I would say 99% of the season, just not be able to make the simple play, I think is disabling the creativity of this team.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you there. And
no, go ahead. I'm done.
I was gonna say, I think I'm lagging a bit there, but I was gonna say 100% agree with you. And if you look at the the possession metrics, right, I believe the expected goals for Soucy, Myers, and Desharnais are all sub 40%, or maybe in the low 40s at best. And with Quinn Hughes on the ice, we brought it up before, it's like 66% expected goals. I mean, when Quinn Hughes is on the ice, the Canucks are the Stanley Cup favorite, and without him on the ice, they're not even a playoff team, right? And this is the kind of conversation we had a couple years back. And last year deserved a lot of credit for it, but overall this year, it's been a big struggle so far for Soucy, Myers, and Desharnais.
Oh yeah, just a big struggle. And again, it's so early in the season. As some of the comments alluded to, we're very blessed to have 7 wins already, and considering how many injuries this team has suffered over the last 6 to 7 months, it's not worst case, but the appetite to see more happen, even with the injuries piling up, is an interesting relationship to happen, because here we are probably in a position to be more patient, because again, the injuries are piling up, but at the same time, seeing the best version of this team, especially within their top 6, is something I'm somewhat desperate for, because even if you bring it back to last year in the playoffs, there hasn't been this, again, I'll use the word sexy. There hasn't been that sexiness with this team offensively, and there's still some star talent there. And I just want to see it bad, man. And going back to Saturday, man, the Canucks had 16 shots in that game with 6 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Prime time, hockey night in Canada. That's without Brock Boeser, that shouldn't be the case. Still.
A sad effort, man, and that's why there's not a ton of top 6 love in the Goats of the Week, which we'll get to on the other side here on Locked On Canucks after we shout out our friends over at FanDuel. All right, NFL season well underway, I should say. Russell Wilson getting a win last week, and if you're betting on NFL, you make sure you get on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place, baby. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You can start with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One love to you and you and you and you. If you're enjoying the banter today, please do us a favor on the YouTube side and hit the like button. And man, we're getting more and more 5-star reviews on the podcast side, man. That means we're polarizing. Okay, I see the ratings. We get a lot of 1-star reviews and a lot of 5-star reviews. Nothing in between. So I feel as if we're in the perfect position, to be honest. That means we're doing something right. Speaking of which, look at this comment from Ronald, man. I have a family friend named Ronald. Or is it Ronald? Either or, okay? He's saying it's only one loss, okay? Calm down, Kyle and Trevor. It's only one loss. It's actually 6 losses in 13 games, if my math is correct. The Canucks have played 13 games. Stanley Cup contender. We hope so. They've won 7. They've lost 6. You know what I'm saying? Like the demand for this team to be better might be something that needs to tone down a bit. But I feel as if it's okay for fans to be a little concerned or just again wanting more, considering that again, 13 games played, 7 wins. You know what I'm saying, Trevor? It's not the best. It's not the best. Certainly, it's not the worst. I know Trevor's lagging a bit.
It's not the best.
Take it away.
Yeah, it's been I think Sarah Sivian had a column where she described the Canucks start this season as chaotic, and I actually think that was a pretty damn good word.
Okay, Trevor's lagging like crazy right now. Okay, so we're gonna have to just hold up. Okay, maybe he can improve his internet. Who knows? Okay, family man, got to do his thing. Again, the Canucks start to the season, as Sarah Sivian alluded to, has been chaotic. I would actually agree with that too. A lot of just variables happening in and around this team. You got the Demko thing, the Joshua thing. Now Boeser's hurt. Pettersson's invisibility. Just Shelov's inability to like steal at least one start for this team. It just equates to again the Canucks having 7 wins, but also having 6 losses in 13 games. So we got Trevor back here. Is everything sounding good or what? Boom, bam, bada bing, bada boom.
Wow, who knows, man? Get back in your room. I'm in my room right now, so it is what it is, man. Yeah, who knows, man? It's funny. I pay for the fastest internet I can get. Still not doing the trick, man. I guess like Hangy is saying in the comments, internet can't handle my what? No, I can't go that far, man. That's too cocky. But these guys should be cocky. They are the Canucks goats of the week. All right, let's rip through them. The goats of the week, the best 5 Canucks from last week. At number 5, I got Jake DeBrusk. Okay, finally, I know he did it last Saturday, but I had 3 goals in 3 games there. A couple goals last week. Again, the games against Anaheim, LA, and the Oilers. Second on the Canucks with 3 points overall, and looking like that little shot Pettersson tipped it. Maybe those two finally getting some chemistry. Who would have thought, Kyle, that this guy would have made the goats of the list week? All 3 weeks to start the season, and that is Kiefer the Reefer Sherwood, man. I can't take this guy off. He's been one of the 5 best Canucks every single damn week to start the season, and he's been one of the 5 best Canucks throughout the entirety of this season.
It would have been nice for him to do something against the Oilers, though. Just nail McDavid. Just hit him. Or piss Draisaitl off so bad that they breaks his stick or something, Something, I don't know. I kind of want to see more from Kiefer on Saturday night. That being said, with the score tossing and turning the way it did in the second, and just getting out of hand in the third, I just it was kind of impossible for him to get himself in the game because he's not a goon, I think he lives off of the moment and games being tight, and then he can go out there and risk it all. Because when you're a POS like Kiefer Sherwood, you got to be somewhat selective, and to do so in a blowout, it just endangers your livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Hockey's a crazy sport. If it's a 7-3 game and you're out there running people, it's cool and all, but I don't know if it's the smartest decision. Okay.
Yeah, it's risking the biscuit for sure. But I mean, who knows? Maybe this guy just had the best off-season regime of all time, just eating nothing but spinach and quinoa patties, baby. Okay, that's how
Whoa.
you keep it lean, man. Unbelievable. Okay, so Kiefer Sherwood, we've actually done this for 4 weeks so far, and Kiefer Sherwood has been on the list for 3 of those 4 weeks there.
Okay.
And he actually was our GOAT of the week in the second week of the season. Unbelievable start for Kiefer Sherwood. And number 3, and this is this guy in the 4th week of the season. His first appearance on the GOATs of the Week ranking, it is Elias Pettersson. Look, I made a tweet about it on Saturday night after the game, doing some writing for Daily Hive. This kind of surprised me, and maybe it's a bit hockey nerdish, but since over the last 8 games, I went through Pettersson's game log. He did have a really, in terms of the possession metrics, a rough first few games of the season. But over the last 8 games, he's had a positive expected goals differential in every single game. And I think that lines up with what we're seeing. The defensive floor has been there. The offensive floor has been what's frustrating. But over the last 8 games, he's second on the Canucks only to Quinn Hughes in terms of his expected goals differential is at 66.8%. That's the 10th best mark in the entire NHL over that time. So to me, that tells me that A, the Canucks have faced some easy competition, but B, Pettersson is starting to look more like the real Elias Pettersson again. I think he's starting to be rewarded a bit more offensively, starting to look just a little bit more confident with the puck. He was controlling the puck in the offensive zone before and not making the right play. It just seems that mojo is slowly coming back to Kyle. And we talked about it, man. 7 wins in 13 games, not the best start, but it is early days in this season, and Elias Pettersson's got time to figure this out still, as much as you might not agree with that.
No, and I like this comment after the game. Reporters gassing him up, and he made it loud and clear that there's still so much of a runway that he needs to, run on, sprint on, get on before he can actually be himself again. And I think that's a valid point because, yeah, he had 2 points, pretty mediocre in the first period, spurts in the second. Game got out of hand in the third. I mean, I know we had a great penalty kill, but in between him and that penalty kill and him getting an assist to Suter at the end of the game when it didn't matter, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to give him a complete pass, I'm still, you know how, like, there's moments in games where, like, Quinn Hughes just takes the puck and does his thing, and there's moments in games where, like, McDavid and Draisaitl do the thing, and they're just, like, creating space, and there's this aura around that, their movements and everything they do with the puck. Like, I'm still waiting for that moment with Pettersson, and I hope that's what he means when he states that there's still so much room for him to grow. Because picking up 2 points and hitting a crossbar is cool and all, but 60 minutes of domination and 60 minutes of just swagger. Just swagger. Every time this guy's on the ice, he's a threat. That's what's missing within his game. And, at the end of the day, for all us human beings, okay, all of us, it takes time. It takes time. And to climb out of the gutter, you need your wins. You need to recognize your wins. But again, that all being said, I cannot wait till he's officially back.
100%. And again, getting there slowly but surely. And I agree with you. I mean, the guy's making 11.6. Don't want to give him a full pass. And he said at post game, he knows he's got to be better. I don't know how much better this guy can get at number 2. And this might surprise you, Kyle. But I have Teddy Bluger as the second GOAT of the week. I've
like
seen that third line for the majority of the week, for the majority of the season. But, talk about last week, just really control and play for the Canucks. And Quinn Hughes said it after the Kings game that the third line of Bluger, Heinen, and Sherwood really controlled the pace for the Vancouver Canucks and played the way that they want to play in terms of just swarming and attacking the offensive zone. Teddy Bluger, I don't know if it's the beard, I don't know if it's the flow, but he just looks like a different, more improved guy. I don't know if he got some extra juice when he got surgery in the off season, but he's been so good to start this year. And at number 1, it's no secret, it's Quinn Hughes again, man. Pettersson and DeBrusk had 3 points. They were tied for second among Canucks in points last week. Quinn Hughes had 6 points. Like, the guy is unreal. Obviously, he gets his 300th assist against the Anaheim Ducks. Another great game against the LA Kings where he just absolutely flat out dominated. It's been so far this season. Quinn Hughes hasn't finished worse than the second GOAT of the week, and that was when Kiefer Sherwood beat him out. Pius Suter got to go to the week too, but Quinn Hughes has been the Canucks' best player by far this season.
Yeah, and not to be an asshole, but I feel as if there's gonna be a bit of a time here where I appreciate Quinn Hughes' game, but I cannot wait to see what he can do against the Oilers again. Because a part of me is scared that the Oilers have figured him out just a little bit. No, straight up. They've seen a lot of him. And he just hasn't looked himself against that team. I don't know if he's psyching himself out and he gets so nervous and then he wants to be one of the best players ever. And he seems like such a hockey nerd too. And he's such a stoic, but again, he's just so infused with the game of hockey that when the Oilers come in town, yeah, there's a rivalry, but there's also this a level of recognition where he wants to put himself up there with McDavid and Draisaitl. And maybe again, he just psychs himself out where he's not playing with his instincts. And please correct me if I'm wrong and slap me in the face. I hope that there's moments from now until we see and until we play the Oilers again. I don't even know when that game is, where Quinn Hughes again, he just proven that he's a top 3 player, top 2 player, doing historic things. I hope that you hold me accountable and allow me to give him his credit. But again, there's a small chance that the competitive nature in me wants to see him do it against the Oilers.
Of course.
And then,
right?
and then it's like, okay, you're the best. But something about Saturday's performance was so disappointing. And there was that one of those game score charts I think you love. I think you have a bunch of them in your room or something like that. But he was amongst the bottom of that list.
Yeah.
And honestly, well deserving. He was not good on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's funny, right? He's the number 1 Canucks go to the week. So he was so dominant against Anaheim and LA. But yeah, it was not a great game against Edmonton. And I do wonder earlier in that game, McDavid kind of chicken wings him. He gets called for the penalty. I think it was more McDavid just kind of making the smart play, chicken winging the stick than Quinn Hughes actually hooking him or holding him. But I wonder if that player maybe rattled him a bit. I don't know if Quinn Hughes gets rattled, though. I just think, like you said, the Oilers are just a damn good hockey team. And, they know how to attack Quinn Hughes. And, we'll see. Again, the next time the Canucks play the Oilers, it's 2 months from now. It's January the 18th.
What?
So a little ways to go. I know. But it won't matter because we're playing this team in the spring, buddy. So it's all good. Yeah.
I can't wait for that. Again, getting over that Oilers loss took some time. I can't believe it because it was only a regulation loss, but or not just a regular season loss. But it's the silver lining in that is knowing that again, hockey matters again in Vancouver, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, and when it matters, you got to take the L's with it too, and the L's hurt. And again, I wouldn't have it any other way because 15 months ago, this wouldn't be the case. So. In all of the spieling, I understand that it's a complete blessing. And, we'll end it on this note again. If Pettersson uses that game as a springboard, then we didn't lose that game. But we actually won that game. And F the Oilers, okay? Kyle Bound, Trevor Baggs doing our thing. We got to get out of here, though. Hit the like button, okay? If you enjoyed the banter, sorry about the internet connection. I actually don't even think it's Bagsy's fault. I think the internet in the studio is pretty bad. And, yeah, so I don't want to blame you. I'm a leader. I'm going to hold myself accountable. It's my fault. Sorry for that. But if you enjoyed the show, again, hit the like button, subscribe to the show. If you're new to the show, leave us a 5-star review because the holidays are around the corner. And I'm trying to buy my girlfriend, I don't know, what should I get my girl this Christmas? A Tyler Myers jersey. There you go. Bagsy, sign us out.
Yeah, maybe we should all go to an Abbotsford Canucks game together, man. The double date's finally going to happen, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like it.
There we go. Shout out to the everydayers, the occasional listeners, the first-time listeners, the new subscribers, and those of you who join us on the live show on YouTube. Wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening, we appreciate the hell out of you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, make sure you go subscribe and like this on YouTube. Go follow us and leave a 5-star review on the podcast. I have to go balance out those 1-star haters, man. Unbelievable. We'll be back tomorrow. Canucks play the Flames then. I will be shirtless or not shirtless. Who knows, man? Kyle Bowen might be in his flex tank top. Who knows? Go find on the next episode. But we got to get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Peace.